Hey David, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm great. Great to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good, thank you for being with me and Destino. And I wanted to sit down with you so I could talk about what you do for us here on Night Court. Would you be able to start with your name and what you do?
My name is David Suarez, and I am a set dresser.
Right. So, for example, on day one, what is it that you and the team that you collaborate with, what do you guys see on set? What do you guys provide for the set?
So, day one, you know what? I'll look at this as if it was a Monday.
Yeah,
We would, usually we are starting with a new swing set, possibly, or every single morning when I show up,
yeah,
I make sure everything's in order, everything's in place. The permanent sets are, clean, they smell fresh.
yeah.
Uh, a lot of stuff gets moved around when we step away from the sets, so that's a big part of the morning. But did I answer that question? Can
Yeah, for example, you were talking about the main sets, which means the cafeteria, which we film a lot
Yeah,
in, and then the courthouse, and then the other one we have that's a standing set is Abby's chambers.
yeah,
So your position makes sure that everything is still in place for before anybody even comes to set.
yes, continuity.
So, for example, on some of the episodes, we had like a huge dumpster set. What was that episode like for you, putting that together?
That episode was really tough. We had to create the clean trash
Yeah.
ourselves, and that was, I'm sure, over 500 bags that we had to create using clean trash, which means styrofoam that we bought, cups, things that help to pack a trash bag, make it look full, make it look like trash, but at the same time, not smelling,
Yeah.
safe. It's not hazardous. It's not real trash.
Right.
Yeah, that was a test of one's patience. You get tired when you're on the fifth hundred bag.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also times that we have guest stars and we'll, for example, go to their apartment, to their home.
Yeah.
So for the set dressing team, what is it like to build that out?
Yeah, it's gonna reflect the characters. Once in a while we have to build Dan's
Yeah.
set, and he's artsier. I guess he's more into jazz and music, and a lot of it will be records and high-end equipment and stuff that's, fancy art. And we have to go rent that equipment. We have to go rent that art. And
Right.
it's going to be higher priced items, so we have to be very careful with them. We're very careful with all the props we rent, all the set dressing.
Yeah.
And but yeah, every character is going to be different, and they're going to have different set dressing.
So how many people would you say are in the team that you collaborate with, just on Night Court, for example?
Night court, it's usually one other set dresser, a lead man. We have our shopper, decorator, and our on-set.
Okay. And as far as the people that you specifically go out on the trucks with, where do you guys typically go and where do you guys rent from?
We go to prop houses. We go to real stores as well.
Okay.
Sometimes we even will pick up from an individual's house that has a certain piece that they can't find at a prop house or at a store.
Okay.
But all over. It depends on what the shoperator, what the decorator and the shopper need, and even I forgot to mention our production designer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that collaboration a lot where the beginning is just getting an idea of what they want it to look like, but the execution goes with you and the people you team up with to get it on the set for everybody to come and have eyes on it and start deciding on what is it they like, what is it they
Yeah.
don't like.
Yes.
So that's a pivotal part.
A lot of stuff doesn't get used. Like you said, we bring it in, they take a look at it, and if it's not something they can work with,
Yeah.
the wrong size, it doesn't fit through the door. Sometimes, we got to return it.
Right. And so, can you share an example of like last minute requests that, and how do you guys get that stuff on set ready for camera in such a short amount of time?
You know what was something that was a little difficult to work with, or not difficult, but there was a lot to do. It was a night court. It was in the cafeteria, and it was
Yeah.
that basketball machine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think that was a tough piece we got because, for one, I guess the wheels were all broken on that heavy piece that we had a wheel around. You
Yeah.
needed we needed help from different departments as far as the screen that was on the basketball hoop needed to. I don't know what they had to do, but
We
they
had to get the special effects to be able to rig the score, and we had to
yes,
cover up the artwork that was already there. So yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, especially for a gag like that.
a lot of moving parts, a lot of the pieces had to come apart, and I'm responsible for it because I have to
Yeah.
return the piece,
Right.
and the owners of that piece need to not see anything different on it or ruined.
Right.
So I had to pay attention to what each department was doing to it and
Yeah.
return it back in its original state.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the challenges that we've faced at times where we're borrowing this stuff, but at the same time we have to repurpose it for what
Yeah.
we need it for.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great example. You did mention that you worked on a show called Big Little Lies, which is totally different to what we do.
Yes.
That is a single camera HBO show. And how do you compare something like that to Night Court, which is a multi-camera comedy?
Night Court, it's all on stage.
Yeah,
And Big Little Lies was all locations. I
yeah,
don't, you know what? Thinking back, it was a while back now, but I don't remember being on stage for that one at all. A couple,
yeah.
it was pretty much all locations of what I did with them,
Uh-huh.
and that was a major difference. Um, and it not being live, you
Hmm.
know,
Right.
is a big difference. One is a more controlled setting, and the other is different each location.
Well, what would you say the hours were like, just to compare?
Um, Definitely different. Live TV scheduled,
Yeah.
and this was each day. Again, you're at a location, and depending on if it's nighttime or daytime, that's going to change your work hours.
Uh-huh.
Um, but
Right.
yeah, very different, both shows.
And I got to meet you on the set of Night Court, but how did you get your start with set dressing?
I would say reality TV,
Okay.
working on PSAs, and before that, before I was in the union, when I met you, I was already in the union, so I was a set dresser. But
Okay.
in those days, before that, I was, doing a lot of building, a lot of painting,
Yeah.
working with graphics, on my computer, going and picking them up at, print shops, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, Murals, things like that. It was a lot more exciting to do so much more
Uh-huh.
sometimes, but it was grueling. It was tough. There were long, long, long days. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I That experience was amazing.
Right. And for example, for people that are just starting out, I understand like we're in a different time now, but what advice would you give those people?
I was fortunate. I really liked the way I got in. It was at the right time. I had learned enough to get in, but I guess my advice would be is enjoy what you're doing.
Mm.
Look at who's doing what you see yourself doing, what you want to do. Have fun, be early, be on time, be fresh and ready to work a long day, and not, of course we all want to go home sometimes, but you know what? These some of these projects can be grueling, and you want to be the guy that's eager and excited to be there
Yeah,
every day.
like you said, I've seen you have to take over a few of the roles just because it was necessary. Like for example, like being an onset dresser has a totally different
Yeah.
and you have to know that role as well because there might be an opportunity or have to be able to fill that role if that person's not available. So, like you said, the hours it
Yeah.
can be pretty grueling sometimes, but that's just how it goes.
Yeah. We're pretty fortunate to have a really good onset that we all know and love and a great team.
Yeah, who specifically is the person that calls you to become part of the team?
That would be the lead man.
Okay. And who else do you collaborate with on the set?
Everyone, every single department.
Yeah.
You will get requests, and you just, you're they're requests that, on top of all the other requests, and you do them, and you do the best you can to help your friends that are there every day, and do it with a smile.
Yeah, no, I totally have benefited from having you on sets
Thank you.
with my graphics. Just to be able to sometimes like I said, we'll be in a jam and we're about to go on camera, but there is
Yep.
a request. So I'll need you to be there with me and we put it up and make sure it's
Yeah.
ready for the producers to look at. And yeah, I know it's always great to know that there's always it's going to be an extra pair of help on set.
Yeah. I mean, and all the other departments help you,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, you even help catering and sprucing up their
Yeah,
setup. We want
uh,
it to look beautiful, and they'll ask you for help too, and they feed you
yeah,
and
no, I think it's definitely a community there. Well,
community.
on all shows, it's a big community. And
Yeah,
for me, I'm happy to bring that to the table and make people feel at home and feel like, we're really doing special stuff out there.
yeah, yes.
But thank you, David. I appreciate the conversation and I'm glad that we get to collaborate.
All right, make me look good, please. I'm not used to. I get nervous in front of the camera. I'm not used to being in front of the camera, so uh, do your best.
I dig it. I like your background.
Thank you. I painted that.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right.